The river that carries forgotten souls. Once, in a quiet valley hidden between tall, misty mountains, there flowed a river unlike any other. Its waters were dark, not with dirt or mud, but with something far stranger: memory. The people who lived nearby called it the river that carries forgotten souls, for it was said that this river did not carry fish or leaves or stones, but the lost echoes of those who had been left behind by time. No one knew where the river began or where it ended. Some believed it came from a crack in the world itself where all things forgotten slipped away. Others whispered that it was the tears of the moon, collecting every memory that had ever faded from human hearts. Whatever the truth, the river moved silently, its dark waters never rippling, never making a sound. In a small village beside this river lived a young girl named Liora. She was curious and kind, with eyes that always seemed to be searching for something no one else could see. Her grandmother had told her stories about the river, warning her never to go near it. "The water does not belong to the living," she would say. "It remembers those who have been forgotten, and to touch it is to risk being forgotten yourself." But Liora could not stay away. Every evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, she would sit by the river bank and watch the dark water move. Sometimes she thought she saw shapes in the depths, faces, hands, even whispers of voices too faint to understand. One night, as she sat there, she heard something new. A soft, sad sound, like a child crying. Liora looked around, but no one was there. The sound seemed to come from the river itself. She leaned closer, and in the water she saw the faint outline of a little boy. His eyes were wide with fear, and his mouth moved as if he were calling for help, but no sound came out. Liora's heart ached. She reached out, her fingers just above the water, but then she remembered her grandmother's warning. That night, Liora could not sleep. The boy's face haunted her. Who was he? Why was he in the river? The next morning, she went to the oldest person in the village, a blind woman named Mirela, who was said to know more about the river than anyone. Mirela listened as Liora described what she had seen. Her wrinkled face grew solemn. "The river does not forget," she said, "but people do. Every soul in that water was once loved, once known. But time passes, stories fade, and when no one remembers you anymore, the river takes you. That boy you saw, he is one of the forgotten." Liora felt a cold knot in her chest. "Is there no way to help them?" she asked. Mirela was silent for a long time. Then she said, "There is a legend. If someone living remembers a forgotten soul, truly remembers them, speaks their name, and tells their story, the river may release them, but it is dangerous. To remember the forgotten is to carry their sorrow. Few have ever tried." Liora knew what she had to do. That evening, she returned to the river and knelt by its edge. She looked into the dark water and called out, "I see you. I remember you." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the water began to stir. The boy's face appeared again, clearer this time. He looked at her with desperate hope. Liora reached out, but this time she did not stop. Her fingers touched the water. A shock of cold shot through her, and suddenly she was no longer by the river. She stood in a place of mist and shadows, where countless figures wandered, lost and silent. The boy was there, standing before her. He opened his mouth, and this time she heard him. "My name is Eli," he said. "I was lost in the woods. No one came to find me. No one remembers." Liora took his hand. "I remember you now," she said, "and I will tell your story." As she spoke these words, the mist around them began to fade. The river's grip on Eli loosened. But Liora felt something else, a weight settling on her heart, the sorrow of his memory now hers to carry. When she opened her eyes, she was back by the river. The water was still, but Eli was gone. In the village, no one knew the name Eli, but Liora did. She told his story to anyone who would listen, and though it made her sad, she did not stop. Over time, she returned to the river again and again, calling out to other forgotten souls, learning their names, their stories. With each one she remembered, the weight on her heart grew heavier, but the river's dark waters grew a little lighter. Years passed. Liora was no longer a child, but an old woman herself. The villagers noticed something strange. The river was changing. Its waters, once black as night, now shimmered with hints of silver, like the first light of dawn. And sometimes, if you listened very carefully, you could hear something new. Not the silence of forgetting, but the soft, gentle sound of remembering. On the day Liora closed her eyes for the last time, the people of the village gathered by the river. They spoke her name, told her stories, and promised never to forget. And as they did, the river's waters rippled, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. For though the river would always carry the forgotten, it now knew something it had not known before, that as long as one person remembers, no soul is ever truly lost. And so the river flowed on, darker in some places, lighter in others, carrying its forgotten souls, but never again completely in the dark.